One, two. Good evening, everyone. And we'll try to bring this Committee of Adjustment hearing to order once again. Sorry for the slight delay if you're watching at home. Before we get started tonight, I'm just going to go through the Committee of Adjustment hearings protocols. We have 3 applications for 3 different properties that are on the agenda this evening. We will go through each one of those in due course. A couple of housekeeping items. If you're in attendance and you have cell phones turned on, if you can please put them on mute or turn them off. And if you do come up to ask or speak to an application, if you can please address any questions through the chair and not directly to the person being asked. First order of business will be for committee members to disclose any pecuniary interests or conflicts of interest with any applications on the agenda this evening. Following that, a request will be made for any deferrals or withdrawals of applications that are on the agenda. Committee secretary will then read out each application noted on the agenda with a brief description and staff recommendation. The applicant or the agent for the applicant will be asked to come forward. They can go to the podium on my right, your left, and they can add any additional comments that they wish to at that time. Members of the committee will then have an opportunity to ask the applicant any questions they might have, followed by any members of the public who wish to speak to an application. I don't know if anyone's registered online too. No. So if anyone wants to speak to an application, podium on the right again for that purpose. Any members of the public wishing to speak to an application will be asked to come forward, state their name and address for the record, try to limit their comments to 10 minutes, and must present all questions or comments pertinent to the application in that time frame. Persons making a presentation may not necessarily be allowed to return again to speak on that application. Following all comments, the applicant will be afforded some closing comments if desired. The committee will then present a decision in the form of a motion. A motion will be discussed and voted upon. If a vote is tied, the motion will be defeated and a new motion will be made. If a motion is defeated, new motions will continue to be made until a decision has been reached. Notices of decision will only be provided to those persons who leave their name and address in writing with the Secretary Treasurer. For those in attendance, there's a sign-in sheet at the back of the room for this purpose. For anyone watching online that wishes to receive that same notice, they can email our Secretary Treasurer, Taya, at taya.taraba@portcolborne.ca, or you can call 905-228-8124 immediately following the hearing and leave a message. That's the protocols for this evening, so I'll first ask if there's any conflicts with anyone this evening. Not seeing any. With that, then I will ask for any deferrals or withdrawals of applications, and I know we've had some requests for some deferrals, so maybe we can go through them each. The first one was A 2024 PC for 1628 third concession. Is this a staff request or is it an applicant request? Staff request. Is there any questions with regards to deferring that particular application? Not seeing any. All those in favor of deferral? Carried. The next one is B1124-PC for 5088 Highway 140. Same thing. Is that a staff or is the applicant here for that one or online?
The applicants are here for both of them.
Oh, for both of them. Okay. I guess I should have went to the applicant for the first one.
Did you want me to move them into the room?
Yeah, if you can move them into the meeting, I just...
Hi. Okay.
Sorry, got a little carried away and didn't realize you were online for this particular application. You're aware of the staff's request for deferral of the application?
I'm aware.
Sorry?
Yes, I am aware.
Okay, and you understand what the issues are with staff?
At this point, the only information I'm aware of is that we're seeking approval of its own variation of height of our replacement garage and the in-law suite. We have a permit, we're under construction, and we were told today that the city needs more detailed site plan. So that is all I know.
Yeah, sorry, your sound was a little, garbled there a little bit. I don't know if it's the connection.
Just 1 second.
That's actually better already.
Sorry, it's kind of noisy here. I got a kid sick downstairs with a loud television. All I'm aware of right now is that we're seeking approval for a height variation, and the city has requested a more detailed site plan. That is all I'm aware of at this time.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. So with that, I'll go back to the community members. We're still okay with deferring till next month? Yep. Okay. Sorry, so thank you. So it'll probably get deferred until next month, assuming you can resolve any issues that they have, and we can bring it back at that time.
Okay. If is that all? I've never done this before. Is that all that's required today?
At this point in time, yes.
Okay. Everybody have a lovely evening. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice night. Bye.
Thank you. And as I was mentioning, the second application that there's a request for deferral is B1124 PC for 5088 Highway 140. If the agent or the applicant is online.
Hello, can everyone hear and see me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yes, we have been notified by planning staff that this application will be deferred until a further time. I should introduce myself. My name is Kevin Nunn. I work for Weston Consulting, and we're the planning consultants representing 140 Development Inc., which is the owner of these lands. And we're working with staff to compile a more fulsome application for your further consideration at a later date.
Okay,
so if you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer them. But
I guess the only question I have is it possible to have that in place for next month, or is it going to have to be farther than that?
To the chair, that is our hope. We're working diligently to bring the application back. There are a number of factors that are outstanding that we need to deal with. We were hoping that they would be in place in time for this meeting, but unfortunately they were not.
Okay, thank you. So that being the case, we'll assume it'll be next month. However, if it's not, I would recommend that we put up new notices and send out notices so that way it can be properly notified to the public.
Yeah, and through the chair, there is intention to modify the application. So that's going to be coming in, and of course we'll be re-notifying as there'll be changes.
Very good. So with that, committee members, if we're good to defer that one, all those in favor? Be carried. Thank you. So with that leaves us one final application this evening, and I will turn that over to the Secretary Treasurer.
Can I ask a quick question?
Regarding?
What about that property?
No.
Just a larger expanded view of this map so we can understand it and see it.
If you go on the city's website, I believe there's a better view that you can look at. And if you go under meetings and agendas, there's an actual drawing there. And if you zoom in, it'll actually get crystal clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So with that, Taya, the last application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the agenda tonight, we have one consent application. Notice of the application was circulated to the public on July 31st. The required agencies received notice of the applications on July 16th. A recommendation report for each application was prepared by planning staff and made publicly available on August 9th. All correspondence received by August 9th were addressed in recommendation reports. Those interested can view the recommendation reports online on the city's website or in person at City Hall. Those interested may also contact planning staff in person, by email, or over the phone to obtain a copy of the reports. Accommodations for alternative methods of viewing or obtaining the recommendation reports are available upon request. Please note, The zoning bylaw currently in effect is the City of Port Colborne zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended, which will henceforth be referred to as the zoning bylaw. Additionally, please note, as discussed, that for applications B1124PC and A20-24PC, staff are requesting a deferral for the applications. Our first application tonight is consent application B1024PC for the lands municipally known as 2970 Highway 3 on the Hamlet Residential Zone as established in the zoning bylaw. The agent Joseph D. Philippus, on behalf of the owners of Laverick Properties Limited, are requesting the committee's consent to sever for the purpose of creating a new residential lot. The subject parcels are shown as parts 1 and 2 in the proposed sketch, where part 1 is to be retained for a future residential use and part 2 is to be severed from the existing residential use. Given the recommendation reports, planning staff recommend that respective consent application be granted, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated August 9th, 2024. That concludes the correspondence for this application.
Thank you. And is the applicant here in person this evening?
They are online.
They're online as well?
Hello. Joseph D. Philippus of D. Philippus Design Inc.
Good evening. Just before you get started, you don't wish to defer or delay your application?
We do not.
Very good. Floor is yours if you want to add anything further than the staff report.
I have nothing further to add. We've reviewed the staff comments. They're in agreement with all the conditions, so nothing further to add.
Thank you. Do any committee members have any question of the applicant at this time? Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not really I guess a question, but just a reminder to the consultant. We looked at there is an issue, not just with the hydrogeological being taken care of, but I think you were aware of the city's desire to have the drain in that area is being reassessed, but your timing is early, and the drainage assessment will probably come after this vote, depending on how it goes. And so will you ensure that if you're selling the property after a consent would be granted, that you'd be notifying the new owner, because there may be a drainage assessment, because that drain is being worked on right now in terms of assessment. We've had issues in the past where someone's gone for a consent and wasn't aware because the drainage appropriation came after the consent. They sold without notice to the new buyer, and they came in unaware. So we're working on that internally so that won't happen, but it may not be, I'm not sure if Tara knows it, or Denise, it might not be available on this one. So if you could just note that should the consent go through.
Very good. Anything else? Anybody? Is there any members of the public that wish to speak to this application this evening? Not seeing any. Any final comments from the applicant or the agent for the applicant?
No further comments from us.
Thank you. You got a recommendation? Angie?
Thank you. Okay. Application B10-24-BC, concession to part lot 13 in the Hamlet residential zone. That consent application B10-24-PC be granted, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated August 9th, 2024.
A seconder to that? Gary? Questions or comments? All those in favor? That'll be carried. Thank you. And is there any other business? Not seeing any. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the July 10th minutes? Angie, Gary, questions or comments? All those in favor? That'll be carried. And with that, I'll consider this hearing adjourned.